All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to go things to avoid disaster while investing in Pokemon in 2022. There are a lot of traps, there are a lot of things that new people coming into the hobby are going to miss and need to learn or at least look at before they dive headfirst into this Pokemon investing pool. So, guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, hit that like button, guys. It's greatly appreciated. We can get 60 likes in this video. It just moves our channel right along. So please hit that like button before you leave. And the other thing, I want to give a couple announcements here. Number one, tomorrow we will be doing a live at 2 p.m. here in Central Time. We will either be here on this channel and on Pokemart USA, or we might just be on Pokemart USA's channel. I will put that up in the community. Right now I have a slot scheduled, so hit the reminder or set your reminder for that live if you are interested in being in it. If something changes, of course, I should be able to simul stream, so he'll stream on his and I'll stream on mine. And we'll definitely just keep you in the loop for sure if something does go wrong with that, and we will just end up on his channel because it's his scheduled time. So I'm just participating with him on his live. The next announcement, of course, is Saturday. We at 9 p.m. Central Time. We will be doing the live giveaway of Brilliant Stars for you, our subscribers. Thank you so much for everything you've done. We've actually already crossed 1,100 subscribers, which is just crazy that we're moving along that well. So I'm glad that my community is growing. I have some very good people in this community that have been really good resources for people out there in the Pokemon world making decisions and helping them maybe with some questions that they have in different perspectives. So thank you guys, everybody in the community that's involved. It's great that you're here. It's great that we have this kind of community and that we're building up the way we are. So today, without further ado, we're just going to get right into what would be some things to watch or keep out of, or just keep yourself out of the traps when it comes to the Pokemon TCG. So the number one thing that I'm going to talk about that I see a lot of people doing, just because a lot of investing channels kind of throw every product out there as good investments because they say everything gains in the Pokemon TCG. So there really is no bad investment, which is by far the worst thought process that you can have when it comes to investing in anything. Because yes, items in the Pokemon TCG all go up. I haven't found very many products that have not, but the number one question I have is the time. So first of all, what's the time that it takes to go up? And number two, what's the gains on it? And do the gains outweigh the amount of costs that you've spent into them between inflation, between just the actual good itself and the storage time, the possible insurance, the business expenses on that, the rent space, all of these things come into factors. Plus, then you always got to beat the 10% to use a service to sell these things, which is a lot of times not talked about when it comes down to these products. So these are all things that, yes, everything gains, but does it gain enough to justify the costs that you're going to incur to hold that product and sell that product? So the other thing is too is that these items are not always what we call liquid items. They're actually very solid. And a solid item is an item that does not sell very well. There are a lot of items out there that sell extremely fast. There's some well-known safe items that people have no problem spending money on. And that also comes down to how quickly you're looking at needing to sell these items and how quickly you might have to adjust to the sales market of these. Do you have the ability to wait months or years to sell these products, or do you potentially need to sell them quickly? If you purchase things that are solid items or hard items, like Charizard first edition PSA 9s, or some of these high-end crystal cards, or even level X's and gold star cards that are PSA 10s, they're very expensive cards. They're high-end. They're a very big luxury item. And when you get to those kind of prices on items, even some booster boxes, I mean, you look at even the Jungle Fossil and Rocket first edition boxes, even base set unlimited boxes, they're running about $20,000. They are not usually quick sales. It takes time for those items to really get moving. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it can take a year to sell some of these products. And that's when you really need to look at it for your strategy for investing and speculating into this market. How soon do I want to sell this? Is this something that I want to be able to sell rather quickly? Maybe within a week? Do I want to sell it within a day? Maybe 2-3 days? Or do I not have a problem when I'm selling it a year down the road? Those are all variables that you really need to look at when you're going into investment, because that can really factor into how you want to purchase things and actually look at how you're going to sell them. So with that part of it, I'm also going to talk about this, which is calculate your worst case scenarios. A lot of people always like to go down on pen and paper and put, I am going to gain 400% on this item. I am going to gain 500%, 200%. What I always suggest is if you're looking at investing in anything, budgeting, whatever you're doing, always go with the worst case scenario also in that plan. When you're looking at it, I like to figure two numbers. A worst case, so if I purchase this right now and I can only get 20% on this gain on this item, is that enough to cover my costs? Is that enough to cover my shipping? Is that enough to cover my total expenses on this item? Or is that not going to make it? Also, is this item going to go up 100, 200%? This item has the potential of doing that. Look at that number. But that worst case scenario number is the one that you should be really focusing on and really looking at it going, historically, items of this caliber in this time frame of this, Charizard card have the ability to do this minimum. And that tells me whether or not that's a safe investment and if it's time to speculate on that, or if it's right now not able to do it with the price it is currently, maybe it's time to back off and just wait to see if that market kind of adjusts. Because typically what we see is if there's a lot of people doing speculating on that item and it does not pan off, you will see that item start to kind of drop backwards. It'll back off and recede. And when it recedes just that little bit, that might give you the numbers that you're looking at to be able to jump in on that item. Once again, it's not a race to get into some of these things. It's a lot of times, if you're just going for the long-term, long-haul investments, it's great to just sit back and just be patient. Don't let hype and FOMO drive you over the edge, because if you do that, take your time, you could pick these items up at better market values and be able to definitely get some better pricing for yourself to pad that profit margins. Next thing that's going to lead into is research, guys. Be sure that you're doing research in everything in this market. Understand the cycles of the Pokemon TCG. Look back in the history of the last 10 to 12 years of this hobby and see what happened. Study the Pokemon Go boom. 2016, study the 2020 boom. It gives you some great insight to what we potentially are looking at in the future if we have another boom coming. Each one seems to systematically become bigger. And as we go more and more into the digital age where there's more influencers, bigger influencers than that, could we see the next boom be even bigger? And if it is, then you get another opportunity. But definitely look at the research and the thought processes behind these things. There's a lot of great channels out there that you can do research with that give you some fantastic information on how the markets work, how the reciprocating cycles work. We try and do it here also and explain how these markets are working, what it would look like if it goes backwards, because they always do. We always see that roller coaster up and down and a reciprocating cycle happening. And that's good. That shows that it's a healthy building market with actually movement inside of it. It's not a stagnant, non-moving item. It's second that market starts to flatline is when you really could see some potential disasters overall for the company itself. So definitely understand that. Understand the products. Understand what you're looking at. Understand why these products are better for investment and why some of these items are better to open and just to go for the chase cards or sell the packs. There's some different roads you can find by doing this research. Last thing that I'm going to talk about real quick is something I've been seeing a lot of people talk about, and you see some bigger YouTube channels discuss this, and I don't think they do a great job at explaining this part of the investment or speculating side. A lot of times channels always push the rarity. Rarity is why you purchase something. If something is rare, that's a great purchase. If it's a low population count, that's a great purchase. If there's low print numbers on it, that's a great purchase. If it's a rare Japanese promo card, that's a great purchase. You hear that a lot from a lot of different channels out there in the Pokemon TCG and in YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram. All of them like to push the rarity card. I think the one thing that you need to realize is when it comes down to rarity, rarity is not the only factor you need to be looking at on these cards. There is also a thing called popularity. Just because something is rare does not mean it's going to be profitable or expensive. BGS black labels are a perfect example of it. We are seeing some really low population BGS black labels come through, and people are spending big money on them because they think that they're going to be rare, or they are rare at this point in time because they're one or two. Number one, when it comes to graded cards specifically, rarity can change overnight. You could have someone submit a ton of cards that could get that rarity and get more black labels, which then makes your card worth less. Second thing is too is that sometimes these rarities are on cards that have no popularity to them whatsoever. Do you think that there are a lot of people out there chasing a Starmie black label? If you purchase that at a high value thinking you're going to have profitability in the future because it's a black label BGS card, you may come into a surprise that nobody's interested in that card and you were chasing it for the popularity or the rarity and not the popularity. And when you do that, that is where you're going to get stuck with some really big priced items that have no place to go, no interest for sale, long term sitting on it trying to sell, and trying to find that very specific buyer that's willing to spend a high dollar amount on a non-popular Pokemon because they're one of the odd people that do like it and have the money. So just something to remember is that you can't just go off of rarity on items. You have to go off of the popularity also. These are two big factors that contribute to a lot of the traps that happen in a Pokemon TCG. So guys, just keep that in mind. Definitely be cautious when it comes to these things. Do your research to know which are popular, where your rarity stands on these items. You know, sometimes it might be a little bit better to get a low pop, but not a rare pop. You know what I mean? It's got more of them out there, but it's a popular Pokemon because that'll actually induce more movement in that market and more sales. And more sales means that that price sometimes will increase because people are fighting for the purchases of these items. So that's just some things to look at. Once again, research will get rid of a lot of the confusion and misunderstanding of these items. It'll really help you understand the rarity and popularity situations, and it'll also just help you understand the market in general. So once again, guys, if I did bring you some good information today, I hope I did. Be sure that you hit that subscribe. Be sure you hit that notify. And before you leave, of course, today, hit that like button, guys. It'd be greatly appreciated if you could do that. Also, once again, I'm going to remind you that on tomorrow we will be doing a live with Pokemart USA. And also on Saturday at 9 p.m., we will be doing the live opening for the subscriber appreciation giveaway for Brilliant Stars Booster Box Break. So be sure you tune in for that. Be sure you go down below in the forum and get signed up for that. We definitely have had quite a few more people join into that, but I'd be glad to see more people. And if that's all, and that's something that I really want to give to you guys, it's completely free to you. So be sure that you sign up and get in on that. Also go to the community tab and definitely click on the extra entries. I see those are still a little bit low, but I still think it's a great opportunity for the people who want extra entries to go to that community tab, hit the like on those, and then, of course, sign up for them through there. Other than that, guys, if I did bring you this kind of information and you do like this kind of stuff, be sure you check out these two videos over here for you. I'll put them up for you for more information on investing in the Pokemon TCG. And after that, I'd like to thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.